Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the FTD University webinar titled Delivering a Best-in-Class Customer Experience Together. Today's feature presenter is Sidney Burngasser, FTD's Director of Customer Advocacy. With our #1 goal of delivering a best-in-class customer experience, Sidney has been tasked with creating a company culture of customer obsession. As a quick housekeeping note, Sidney will be taking questions during the session. If you have a question for him, simply type it in the chat box in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. All right, let's get started. Welcome, Sidney. You're muted. Sorry. There you go.
All right, there we go. That was the perfect way to start the session. Hey, everybody. How many we've got? We've got 23 so far. Cool. Thanks for that intro, Janet. As she said, my name is Sidney Burngasser, Director of Customer Advocacy here at FTD. I'm especially excited about this session today because I'm actually a florist kid. My family owned a small florist in Jackson, Tennessee for about 50 years, 40 years of that time they were FTD members. So it feels like a full circle moment for me to be with the company, but also I've been really looking forward to hanging out with you all and expanding how we understand our relationship with you all and growing that. And that's something that we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the session. But so why are we here today? We are here to talk about customer satisfaction. You as a small business, you understand that customer satisfaction is everything. It yields loyalty and retention and ultimately profitability. So hopefully today you're going to take away some tangibles, some tangible ways that you can help improve our consumer experience and make sure that they're repeat customers and that we're all putting some money in the bank. So today, this is kind of what we're going to cover. We're going to cover how we measure success, what does and in some cases does not delight our customers, and then best practices for delivering on the promises that we make our consumers. So like Janet said, pop questions in the chat. She's just going to holler and interrupt as they come up. I want this to be as conversational as we can make it. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing screen. Janet, let me know if you can see this.
Yep, we can see it. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. So about a year ago, when Charlie joined as our new CEO, he set forth a strategic plan. And in that strategic plan, our #1 operating goal is to deliver a best-in-class customer experience, AKA a renewed focus on customer centricity and making sure that the customer is at the center of all of our decision-making and is our first thought in everything that we do. Fast forward about 4 months later, I was hired on. I saw Amy Baldessero on the call. She is our SVP of Customer Experience. I report to her. And my team's mission is basically to elevate FTD's customer experience to world-class status by really creating a culture that is customer obsessed, right? And how do we do that? So we root ourselves in data first and foremost. And from that data, we build empathy and then turn that empathy into action to improve the overall experience, right? So I want to say here, I just want to stop and say, customer doesn't just mean the consumer. Obviously, it means you lovely folks too. A lot of what you're about to see is really consumer focused, understanding those consumers and then how we can fill their orders to the best of our ability. But at the very end, I'll tell you about something new and exciting that is coming for you all. So jumping right in. So we have a number of tools that we use to listen to and understand our customers. And these are built into the entire experience, right? So from the very beginning, browsing and shopping, someone lands on our website. There we have a mechanism where we capture what we call site feedback. This is where consumers can rate and review the on-site user. So whether or not that's an availability issue, a discount or promo code isn't working, the transaction technology isn't going through, their credit card isn't processing, those types of things that we can, get root cause analysis for and fixed immediately. Immediately post-purchase, we survey our customers to ask how satisfied they were with their shopping experience. That's a link on the order confirmation page. So those are kind of like the first two steps. Then you move to 2 days post-delivery. And this is when we send an email survey. This is what we call primary NPS, which we're going to unpack a little bit more here in a second. But this is where we're really getting a picture of the consumer's satisfaction with the entire experience. So from ordering on the site where we kind of set expectations for what they're going to be getting, all the way to the recipient receiving, telling them how much they did or did not love their product, whether or not it was delivered on time, all of those types of things. 2 days post that, we actually take the opportunity to solicit brand and product reviews. This is helpful for us from a paid media advertising perspective. It also helps our merchandise and creative teams understand kind of what's driving our consumers to make the decisions that we make, so they can wrap all of that in together for their planning later. So lots of cool things here. And then finally, there's the human element. There's the loop. This is where consumers are requesting follow-up, and we contact them for that issue resolution, or just to thank them for their feedback, because we want to make sure that we're saying, hey, we hear you, we're listening, and these are the improvements we're making based on what you gave us. Also, I just added a bar along the bottom. We do lots of ad hoc data collection all the time. Some of you might have taken our buyer's guide survey last week, and we thank you for doing that. So what is NPS, right? We hear this tossed around all the time. We actually started using NPS as a company back in 2018, but I think that there's still some demystification that needs to happen. The Net Promoter System is the world's leading metric for measuring customer satisfaction and loyalty. It's the most widely adopted system for managing customer feedback and improvement. And like I said, primary NPS, the survey that happens 2 days post-delivery, that's really our key measure of customer satisfaction. And it's really based on a single question. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend FTD to a friend? And so what you have here, you have a picture of our actual survey. Consumers are asked to rate us on an 11-point scale, how likely they are to recommend. Then we ask them why they say that. And this is where things get interesting. We get lots of verbatim comments. We have pretty sophisticated text analytics tools, so we can really pinpoint what exactly is driving the satisfaction or dissatisfaction that they've reported in those numbers up top. And then finally, like I said, we ask, would they like to be contacted regarding their response? If yes, they get shot off to this magical team of customer service workers who follow up and really make sure that we're getting these customers back and winning them back if need be. So how's NPS calculated, right? So based on the number that you give, if you rate us on a scale of 0 to 6, you're what we call detractors. These are unhappy customers. They can really damage our brand and impede growth through negative word of mouth. And they require proactive mitigation. So these are the folks that if they are asking for contact, we're reaching out to them immediately and trying to solve their problem and win them back. If you give us a 7 or an 8, you're what we call a passive. So you're satisfied, but unenthusiastic, and you're vulnerable to competitive offerings. So, you might be going over to Teleflora. We haven't convinced you yet. And then if you give us a 9 or a 10, you're what we call a promoter. So you're a loyal enthusiast. You're going to keep buying, and hopefully you're going to refer others. So you're really going to fuel our growth. And then to get your Net Promoter Score, which is based on a scale of -100 to 100, you take the percent of promoters, you subtract the percent of detractors, and then you times it by 100, and there you go, you got your number. I know that's a lot of math. Math's not my thing, so that is what it is. The great part about this is that we can tie this feedback to every part of the business. So whether it's at the product SKU level, whether it's a certain gifting category, a certain occasion people are shopping for, a price point, in your case, we can tie it to fulfillment type. So the florist code, we know who filled the order, and we can tie those customer verbatims and those scores back to the actual fulfillment experience. We can look at different audiences and programs, order dates, delivery date, geography. Seriously, the world is our oyster when it comes to parsing out this data. We have actually set some targets this year for florist fulfillment, and this chart can be a little wonky to look at. So the lower black number, these are our FY20 actual numbers. This is how we performed last year. The gold in the middle, these were the FY21 targets that we set for ourselves. And then the green is how things have actually played out this year. And you can see that you all, the Florist Network, have really been delivering an exceptional customer experience. We were up 10 points in February. That is fantastic. Valentine's Day was fantastic. Frankly, the Florist Network should get much credit for carrying us when we know that we had these crazy winter storms, and that drop ship and other forms of fulfillment really weren't an option for us. Oh, I see a question. Reminder to pop any questions in the chat. Thank you, Janet. So I know you're looking at this and you're probably like, well, what's a good score? What should we be aiming for, right? So in retail, we generally say that a low score is anywhere from 0 to 5, right? And remember, this is on a negative 100 to 100 point scale. So a low score is like a 0 to 5. An average score is somewhere around, average to good score is somewhere around 30, and then high is somewhere around 50. So we're kind of right there making those gains in the good spot. But we want to get even better. And the purpose of this conversation is really to equip you with some tools. A lot of it will be reminders for you, but some tools for how you can really help us get this score up. So I'm frozen. Let's see. All right. So here we go. So what we know from all of this and how we really make sure that we get this NPS score up to where we need it to be is remembering this very simple rule. And it's that consumers expect us to deliver what they order on time and to value. And I promise you that every single FTD employee thinks that I'm a broken record how many times I say this a week. It seems like a basic of retail, but it's something to remember. Consumers expect us to deliver what they order on time and to value. And you can see how this kind of plays out in the scores, right? So I wanted to give you a real life example of kind of.
We do have a question that came in.
Yeah, what is it?
Tiffany's asking, did you say the scale is minus 100 to 100?
That is correct.
What was the scale?
That is correct. Minus 100 to 100.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you all an actual example of some recent results. So this is Valentine's Day 2020, and this is kind of the text analysis that we ran on those primary NPS scores. So again, they rated us on a scale of 0 to 10, and then they gave us feedback, which we were then able to run through our text analytics tool and really get to the bottom of what is driving dissatisfaction. So we know our top dissatisfaction drivers are delivery, accuracy and presentation, product quality, pricing and fees, and customer service. Those are pretty much the top 5 buckets for us all the time. And then we can break that down into what we call level 2. So in delivery, you have late or non-delivery, personnel issues, handling of the delivery. For accuracy and presentation, you have looks nothing like the picture, wrong item, there was a substitution issue, there was a missing item like a card, et cetera, et cetera. So you can really see just at this very high level how we can break down our data to understand what's driving issues with our customers. So understanding that delivery and accuracy and presentation are our 2 biggest issues. I have invited my BFF, Senior Manager of Quality Extraordinaire, also your old friend, Keith Harbison, to this chat. And he's gonna walk us through some levers, and like I said, in some cases, reminders for you, but levers that you can pull on a daily basis to make sure that you are helping us decrease complaints around delivery and then accuracy and presentation. So Keith, my friend, are you on?
I believe I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're
I
on.
can see you now too.
Awesome. So thanks for the invite, Sidney. I think, we work quite often in tandem to address a lot of the issues and challenges that I think we all have with our customers. And I always like to say it's great to just face those head on, embrace any feedback you get from the customer and try to find a way to improve on everything that we do. So you had mentioned that I think delivery issues were like 41%, right, of the issues for negative drivers for February and Valentine's Day. And so we thought we would just kind of show some tips on how we can kind of chunk this out a little bit, address delivery, address quality issues. So when we're looking at delivery, just to kind of break this down a little bit. So on any attempted delivery, and when I say attempted, I mean, it wasn't successful. Your delivery driver went to the house or the place of business for whatever reason, they were unable to actually make the delivery and put it into the recipient's hands. They're going to want to do just a couple things, and communication is really key here. So for all attempted deliveries, I always say, make sure you leave a door tag, communicate with that recipient, leave them a phone message if you have their phone number to let them know that you were there and you attempted that delivery. And then very important, communicate with the sending florist or FTD.com to let them know the delivery was attempted. So that way, if a customer calls in and wonders where their delivery is, now we've kind of connected those dots so they know that attempt was made and that we can reschedule a delivery for a later time. And then, of course, if you do have a successful delivery, and then very, very important, after the delivery is successfully executed, send that delivery confirmation. So consumers want that real-time update on where's my package. We have that in so many other areas of our life as far as delivery services are concerned. So it's really important that we make sure that we up our game to deliver that same customer experience. So send that delivery confirmation and then obtain valid proof of delivery. And I'll explain a little bit later what that means to the sending florist. And then also as a reminder, I want to let you know that when you send a delivery confirmation, the reason it's important to do it after the delivery is successfully made is because it immediately sends an email to the customer and says, hey, we were successful, we delivered your item. And if by chance, that kind of gives them the green light to connect with that recipient. And if they connect and it's not there, then that's when the phone calls start and there's a lot of concern as to where the package actually is. So customer service inquiries, if we reach out to you or if the sending florist reaches out to you to find out anything about the delivery, either before, on, or after the delivery date, try to respond promptly to those messages. I think that'll help you, just again, connect those dots where the consumer may be looking for some information. And then for proof of delivery, here's kind of what we're looking for that I think would work good. Contactless delivery, this whole COVID thing over the last year has kind of created some challenges, but I still see a little mix of both types of proof of delivery coming in. So proof of delivery is that delivery log that you get, your driver will get when they go to the door. They're going to get a signature. Make sure that signature is clear and legible. Sometimes if it's not, because we all kind of have a unique way of signing, just maybe ask the recipient to print or ask them to or ask for their name so you can print their name under it. And just gives us a little more indication of who actually accepted that package. If you get a request to provide that proof of delivery from customer service or from another florist, respond within those 48 hours. I'm sure you're all aware of the delayed response program. And if you don't have that 48 hour, you got that 48-hour window to do it. But if you don't do it within that time, you most likely will be billed for your DRP. Recently, we've been doing pictures for proof of delivery, and shops out there that are amazing. And excuse me, I'm getting a phone call on here. So, and so when you take a picture of a delivered item, try to capture the address of where that is going to, and hold the flowers up clearly so you can see the flowers. Take a picture with the address in the background, and then, of course, put them in a safe place so that the recipient can find them. And then real-time confirmation is always the best. So I suggest if you have the FTD mobile app, use that whenever possible. or try to decon as close to the time as your deliveries have been completed.
Hey, Keith, you have a question. It
I
says,
do.
I had been told any ask sent about an order is counted as a negative toward my shop, similar in the way a reject is. Is that true?
It's partially true. So, what we want to do is empower the florist to make all the right decisions. So there's certain questions like, if you're asking us to sub a certain flower or things like that, can I change the delivery time, or, anything that would slow down the delivery, and probably should just be rejected. The system will actually just react to that and reject the order. So that's the reason why, but it doesn't count against you if it's a simple, sending an ask message to update us as to what's going on, or to let us know, after the delivery that you weren't successful or had some questions, the addresses were incorrect or something like that.
Cool. Thanks, Keith.
You bet. So Sidney also mentioned accuracy in presentation. So I hope you're all finding these enhanced, this is enhanced sub-guidance that we're posting on ftdi.com. And Emily Buckles is doing a great job of building such great holiday tools and really monthly tools with our everyday top 25 bestsellers. And within here are sub-guides for each one of the items that we do carry. And so you'll see here, there's a little brief description of what the item is and what it's called for, what flowers are called for. And then down the first column are the flowers that were actually used in the design itself, and then some ideas of flowers that you can use if you don't have those exact flowers. So sub-guidance is just a thoughtful process to make sure that you do some subs in a way that you'll still carry out the same color harmony and same look and feel, and of course, value of that design.
So now you know all this information, right? And you know which levers to pull, but how do you know if you're successful? So like I said, we can assign NPS scores to any part of the business. And so you have an NPS score as a shop, and that is something that is on your florist scorecard. I'm sure most of you have accessed this before, but I'll show you exactly where it is. If you go on to ftdi.com, you can click the drop-down menu in toolkits and resources, scroll down to quality programs and click on the scorecard. That's also something over here under member services, same drop-down, or you can simply click through here on FTD quality programs, click florist scorecard in the left column, log in, and it's there. Now, Keith, if I'm a florist and I go to access my score, I'm going to see a number. But how do I learn what customers are actually saying about what I've fulfilled? I think that's the first question.
Absolutely. And what I would suggest is to kind of schedule a one-on-one call with one of the QSRs, the quality services representative, or my team, email address qsr@ftdi.com. And we can pull some of that information and really share it with you and have a one-on-one. And it's really interesting to hear what the customers think, good or bad. Again, I say embrace that information and use it as a tool to improve.
Yeah. Keith, we might tag team this one. How will FTD be addressing the extreme flower shortage? Customers need to know that subs will. Do you want to take this or do you want me?
Why don't you start and then I'll jump in.
Okay, I'll take the front end. So you all might have heard about this. We have this thing called Sub Squad, and the objective of the Sub Squad is to be as loud as possible in the front end user experience. So on ftd.com, sorry, I got distracted by the next question. On ftd.com, be as loud as possible about the fact that substitutions are very possible. And so we've been looking at ways that we can enhance the product page itself to make sure we have language. We've also been adding sub images that show florist design bouquets to show that while it might not look exactly like, thanks Keith, while it might not look exactly like the catalog picture, that you're still gonna get a beautiful bouquet that is unique because it was designed by your local florist. So that's kind of the front end. Do you want to talk? I mean, you just talked about the substitution policy. Is there anything related to the extreme flower shortage though that you want to say?
Well, I think it's something we're gonna have to manage through. We did it. We had a similar situation last year. And I think the florist actually did pretty well kind of working through that. But I really encourage you to go out and use those PDFs that we're putting out on ftdi.com. It may not have all the answers for you, but I think you guys are the professionals. Take a look at it. Remember, color is king. And if you lay those down by your designer's tables, I think it'll take half the questions away for you. And it'll also help you plan, if you're looking into the market for different flowers. So, and then reach out to me, reach out to our team. Our team has their ear to the ground and we're kind of listening for things too. And we'll see where we can help you out.
That's a great question and a great call out. What else? Any other questions? We have 4 minutes.
Great job, Sidney. Appreciate you sharing your customer obsession with us today.
Obsessed.
If you've got any additional questions, please pop those in the chat. We'd love to answer those for you. Yeah, simply typing it in the chat. I don't know if we do have any more or not. So.
Well, I have one more thing to wrap then.
Oh, fantastic. And then if any more questions pop in, we'll jump on them.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said at the top of the chat, when we say customers and advocating on behalf of our customers, that doesn't just mean the consumer. That means you, the Florist Network, our most important partners. Tiffany, we'll make sure this deck gets sent out afterwards and you and I can have a personal conversation about how the NPS is calculated. Cool. You are our most important partners, and we sent out a survey last quarter asking about your satisfaction, kind of an NPS style survey, and broke down some of the core and optional services that we provide to you and understand your happiness with those. We also asked an open-ended question about why you rated us as you did, and we applied the exact same text analytics to that so we could get a real understanding of what you go through on a daily basis and how we can improve. So next week on April 6th, you're going to get another survey. So we can kind of measure each quarter how we're improving, and that will detail, some of the things that we've done since last time, because we want you to know that we hear you and that we're taking your feedback seriously. So please, please, please fill out that survey. So we get a response rate that is really indicative of what's happening for the entire network.
All right.
Anything else?
Don't see any other questions. Yes. A PDF of the presentation slides will be available on ftdi.com along with the link to watch this program that we're recording, so you can watch it on demand. All right. And just want to thank everyone for attending today. As I just said, a recording will be available on demand on the FTD Mercury Network Florist YouTube channel. For more education programming from FTDI, please visit ftdi.com to register for upcoming free webinars and design shows, as well as viewing past education programs on demand. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Have a great day.